Hi, welcome to the Closet Philosophy Podcast. This is Jennine. I'm a personal stylist.
And this is Kristen. I'm a fashion writer, and we're here to uncover the ways that your personal style is so much more than just clothes.
Whether you realize it or not, what you wear touches on science, psychology, culture, politics, and so much more. Hi, Kristen.
Hey, Jennine. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I have an appointment coming up. Guess what I'm doing?
Botox.
No, I stopped doing Botox a while ago, but this time I am going to get hair extensions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really? Have you
Yeah.
had them before?
No, not like professional hair. 'Cause I played around with the clip-ins and like the halo ones with like the fish line and stuff. Like I played around with those, but I'm thinking about professionally getting them installed because I was looking at old pictures of myself and I didn't realize how much hair I lost, but I lost like basically like half my hair in menopause.
Oh, yeah. A lot of women talk about that in menopause.
Yeah.
It,
And I feel like it's just like I feel like my outfits don't look as good because my hair is like just, blah. And I tried cutting my hair short, but then I felt like, I don't
like it
know,
wasn't you, kind of.
it wasn't me. I didn't feel like me. I felt like, I don't like, I hate to say Karen, but like, I felt, I don't know. I felt like, it wasn't me like and
Yeah.
I wanted to have like cute hair. I wanted to look cute, but it just didn't jive the way I wanted it to. And I was thinking, okay, I think I need to have hair, but it like my hair like at this length now is just so flat. And
How are you feeling about the decision? Like, was it hard to come to the decision that you wanted to go ahead and do that?
yeah, that's really interesting because I am of the camp of like, okay, just like let your hair go gray, just let your hair like do its thing like nature had. And
Yeah.
so I was thinking like, I'm just gonna, because like when I first started making videos on social media, like I actually was like really afraid of people like seeing my age and stuff, thinking that nobody wanted to see like a middle-aged woman
I
like
was the same.
on camera. So like I wore a face tape to make my skin more taut.
Oh, wow.
I wore a wig to have like more luscious hair or to have nicer hair. And that was a lot of work. And
Yeah. But the
and then
pressure is real, you know?
the pressure is real. And like and ironically, like when I stopped doing that and I just started showing up like as myself like online, that's when everything like took off. So I really equated that like kind of just accepting where you are with actually like looking better. Like that's the secret to looking better. But at the same time, I hit kind of a wall with it with my hair. And yeah, so I think I'm going to go in and get like extensions.
That's really interesting. I mean, I think it'll look amazing and I'm sure you'll be happy with the decision. But it's just interesting that tension between like, wanting to look your best and feeling and like just having these aesthetic wishes for yourself, but then also thinking like, oh, well, I'm a feminist and I want to like not betray my gender and I want to like show up for other women who are also feminists so they can feel comfortable. And I have that tension all the time too.
Mhm.
I think it's really hard to know sort of where that line is between like, who am I doing this for? Am I doing it for myself? Am I doing it for the male gaze? Am I doing it for other women? Or like, it's just, it's hard to tease it out
Yeah. I mean,
sometimes.
yeah, with Botox, it was like really easy to see that line, no pun intended, as uh, because like every time I went into the store, I mean the store, the office, and I
Yeah.
would just say I just want like 20, what do you call it, units, like in
Yeah.
my 11s, because I didn't want to be frowning. Like I didn't, for me, it wasn't about anti-aging, it's about the expression on my face. And they would like try to upsell me, like, oh, you have a lot of fat
Always.
in your face. Like, what about like injection or like, what do you call those? Like fillers and
Uh-huh.
skin tighteners or like skin resurfacers and like all of these things. And I was like, well, like, what's gonna happen? And then what? Like how am I gonna do this for like the rest of my life? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
look 25 after I do this. I'm still going to look my age and I'm going to be paying all this money and putting my health at risk. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think we all sort of find our limits of like where we're willing to go with it. And then yeah, I mean, I struggle with it all the time because like I said, I want to, be an example for other women who like want to let their hair go gray. Like this is I used to highlight and color it and everything, and now I've let it go gray. And I get a
mhm,
lot of feedback that's like, oh, it looks good. I get a lot of support even just walking down the street. Like women are like, oh my God, I love your hair. Like,
mhm,
I think people like seeing, other women who aren't, sitting in the chair for hours and hours and hours and spending all that money and like it gives them an opening to be like, oh, maybe I could do that too. But then at the same time, like I've said that I'm not going to do Botox anymore. And I haven't done Botox for years, but I do sometimes think about like doing the 11s again. Like just recently, I've been thinking like, I look mad and I don't want to look like I'm like frowning all the time. So I was
mhm,
thinking of maybe just doing it there, like you were
mhm.
talking about before. And then I'm like, oh, but then am I betraying everyone?
Yeah.
Like it's so
Yeah.
hard.
It is so hard. And like, just to be clear, like, like if that's your decision to do, like I feel like everybody should be doing what makes them comfortable. Like what, everybody has that thing that, they feel like they need in order to feel confident. And so, and whether it be Botox or, and like sometimes like I even go back and forth with like, would I ever get a facelift? Like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, because like I have this friend who's in his 60s and like he had to get his eyelid was starting to kind of fall over his eye. And so he had to get like this medically recommended like blasphemy. I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing where they, do the eye lift, right?
Yes. I
And
forget. It does start with a B. It sort of does sound like blasphemy, but it's not.
yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
And then so he actually, funnily enough, he got this recommendation of this doctor in Costa Rica.
Oh.
And so he was talking with the doctor and they were like, "Oh, well, while we're in there, we can just do like a facelift." And like and for him it was like $10,000 to do the facelift and he's like a judge, so like he has money, right? And he's like okay, like why not? And he actually went and he got a facelift. And I saw him like about 2 weeks after he came back from Costa Rica. So he was there for 2 weeks. So about a month after he had it done. And like honestly, like I couldn't tell like that he got like a facelift. Like I thought he
Really?
just looked fresh. Like I didn't think that
Okay.
he looked like he was trying to be 25. He didn't look like a robot. He didn't look like anything. Like he just looked like rested, you know?
Huh.
And
So
so
do you think it was worth it for him to do it, or do you think that like he didn't need to spend all that money?
that's a good question. And well, I mean, obviously, like he did need it because it was impeding his vision because his
Well,
eyes
for
were
that part of it,
dropping
yeah.
over his eyes. But, I think like in terms like he felt more confident and I mean, like he's a gay man, so like it's like different for like gay men to be getting facelifts and like straight
Yeah.
men. But like I felt like no, I mean, I felt like he looked like he did like probably like 20 years ago. Like, but he always looked kind of great he always looked great. But like, yeah, so maybe for him it was worth it. And I would think like if I just wanted to look like fresh and like rested, not necessarily younger, like maybe, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say like a hard no. And like that's like the
Yeah.
whole thing. But is this being like, you know, trying to turn back the hands of time, like, or is it like really like just about like little boosts in your confidence, and like if you have the means, like why not?
Yeah, it's hard to tease it out sometimes. Like I've said before, I think about all these things like doing things to make ourselves look different, better, younger, maybe, whatever.
Mhm.
And I always like think of tracing it back to like where's the origin? Like where did this come from? Why would we want to do this in the first place? And
Mhm.
sometimes it goes back to like the male gaze. Like men like women to look younger. And men like when women have like red lips. Well, some women, some men.
Not Hitler.
And not Hitler
Sorry.
and not Trump, right? Doesn't
Not
he
sure.
hate red
I don't
lipstick?
know. Yeah.
One of the many things they have in common. Um, but so that used to be sort of my way of thinking about it. Like, if it originated from the male gaze, then like let's not participate. Like I don't want to participate. But then the more I thought about it, I think about things like things evolve and the reasons we do things evolve. And
Hmm.
so, like, just makeup, for example, like maybe we did that originally for the male gaze, but now I don't wear makeup for the male gaze. I wear it just to look fresh, to even out my skin tone so it doesn't look splotchy, and
Hmm.
just to feel a little boost in the day,
Yeah.
and it's not for the male gaze. And then other things also evolve. Like when you think about language, the B word used to be used just as a negative thing to call a woman, but women have taken that. But a lot of women, I don't call my friends the B word like regularly, but like a lot of women use that as like an affectionate, term of endearment with their
Mhm.
friends. And obviously, like the N word, also, like the Black community uses that word as like a communal, term of endearment, and they've taken it back. So there are things in culture that you can take back, and it doesn't maybe matter as much where it originated. It matters like how we feel about it and how we want to use it in our lives. You
Hmm.
know, so it gets
Yeah.
very muddy for me. It's hard to come down on like where sometimes where because I used to be very hard line about it, like plastic surgery is like, because of the patriarchy and we should not do it. But
Mhm.
the lines have become fuzzy for me.
Yeah. I mean, like I had a breast reduction like 5 years ago, or no, not, I keep on saying 5 years ago, but it was like 7 years ago.
I
Uh,
remember that. I remember
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to have like really big boobs, and I actually still have dents in my shoulders, and like the doctor said I could get it covered by insurance because it was medically necessary because they were so heavy and
Did you have
large.
like back pain and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I got it, and I feel like so much better
Hmm.
like than and then I even like looking at pictures of me from, like before it happened, I was like, oh wow, like I really like the shape of my body now more. And that, some people may say like, okay, like that could be like an anti-aging thing as well, of like changing the shape of your body. And so for me, like like I don't always have to wear a bra, clothes fit me differently, like and all
Yeah.
of that kind of stuff. So, and am I happier now? Like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Would I go back to where I was before? No, like I wouldn't choose that. So that's like the whole thing about, like, is it going to make you feel better? And I think that like we make all kinds of changes to our appearance, like, deciding like, oh, I'm wearing like really bold glasses, or I'm wearing like this type of clothing, or I'm curling my hair, or I'm doing this or
Yeah.
that. You do all kinds of things. I think where the line where it gets like really dicey is when it doesn't make you feel good anymore. It just makes you feel like you have to do the next thing in order to feel better. You know what I mean? So it's
That's a
like,
really good point.
so like with the whole like Botox thing, like I was just happy with like getting the Botox in my 11s. Like I was just happy with that. But then every time I went into the office, they tried to upsell me on
Yeah.
like the other stuff. And I was just like, no, I really don't want any of that stuff. This is not why I am doing this. And, but then it was like, oh, but like what about getting like lip injections? And I was like, I have lips. I don't need lip injections. Like where does it end?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm never going to be looking like I'm 25. I mean, unless I get the same plastic surgeon as Lindsay Lohan, but
I don't actually,
that's,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe the same surgery as what's her name? Kim Kardashian's mom.
Oh, Kris Jenner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I don't want to look 25.
mm,
I don't, and I went down that same path with injections and stuff. Like, and I ended up doing more. Like, I did get some fillers. This was probably 15 years ago. Like, I did get
mm.
some fillers. Because I've always had really deep lines right here. So I got fillers there. I got fillers in my eyes. And oh no, I got Botox in my eyes actually. And it actually just made them like droop down,
Oh no.
because it makes it relaxes the muscle. So for me,
Mm.
it just made it look like I had a kind of like I do now, but this was 15 years ago.
Oh, no.
So it's like it had the opposite effect. I looked older. And then I just got to a point. I have a really good friend, as she and I used to talk about it all the time. And she's like, you know what? I think we have to be careful about where we're going with this. And I was
Hmm.
like, you know what? You're right, because where does it end? Like,
Hmm.
because you're not going to keep getting the same results as you get older and older and older. And
Hmm.
psychologically, that could get really a little confusing and have a negative impact on your
Hmm.
self-esteem. So it's worth like really thinking about the why and
Yeah.
where does it end?
In that whole like kind of chasing energy and stuff. Because like this whole like anti-aging thing, like it's like really insidious. Like, I was like reading this article and like people who are like, young girls, like as young as like 12 or 13 are doing these like anti-aging regimens, like putting the anti-aging products like on their skin as like a preventative measure so that they don't get old, which is
Yes.
like insane and actually bad for their skin because their skin doesn't need all of that stuff, and so it's actually like counterintuitive, but it's not good for them to put those things on their face. And and then now like I don't know, like I don't know why, but like TikTok just like serves me like all of this anti-aging and I really like sometimes I hate watch it, but sometimes I'm like, I don't want to see this, and I keep on swiping, but it keeps on serving it to me. I don't know why, but like, just like the whole like Peter Thomas Roth, like the skin tightener, and then all of these things to like the neck creams, and like, and there's no science saying that the neck creams like work, and
Oh,
so.
absolutely not. I mean, neck cream is the same as any other face cream. It's just labeled for the neck. It's like
Mhm.
it's all marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all marketing. And the reason why we have like wrinkles on our neck is not because of the skin, it's because of the fat loss. And like
Hmm.
lotion is not going to fix fat loss. Like, and so and it's just like,
Right. And
but
that
people,
laxity that happens in the muscle here, that's not going to get fixed by a cream.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and that is like a really interesting thing. It's like, okay, so if you're buying like all of these products for all of these like specialized things, and if you're doing, I think they call it like the morning shed, where like
Oh,
at night you
yeah.
put on like the face tape or like the mouth tape so you don't like breathe out of your mouth. Why? I don't know why. And then
I
you
think
put
there's like a wellness aspect of that as well, in addition to the wrinkles. And I don't understand it.
yeah, and then they put like surgical tape or something or some kind of like silicone tape like on their wrinkles to like produce collagen, or I don't know if that's real. And then they have like the masks that they put on their face, and then they have like, of course like the bonnets with like the
Like the
heatless curler, and like they have like their whole face is like this big helmet of like stuff that they
yeah.
put on their face on their head before they go to sleep. And when they wake up, they have to peel all of this stuff off like every
Yeah.
single day. And, it just seems like so like founded in capitalism. Like it seems like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so like like, do those things really make a big difference? And
Yeah, it also seems very performative for social media. Like I wonder if all those women are really doing that every night because who could freaking sleep that way? I
I can't
cannot
sleep.
I can't even sleep with like an eye mask on, like let alone all that shit everywhere on my head. There's no way I could sleep. So yeah, it's like it seems performative for social media, but then also they're probably selling all these products. They're probably getting affiliate commissions, right, for all this stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
not even based in reality. Although I will say that I have used the stickers.
Brownies.
Um, hmm, the,
Brownies.
yeah, I haven't used the Frownies brand. I think I used a different brand, but it's the
Mm.
same idea. It's like a triangle.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, I don't know if it produces collagen. Like I'm not sure about that, but it does like just keep the skin flat
While you sleep.
and then when you wake up and remove it, your 11s are kind of gone for a
Yeah.
while until you start doing. And if you do it every night, our fellow San Francisco influencer Samantha,
Oh yeah.
Stung by Samantha, she wears those and she talks about it a lot on her social media, and she swears by them.
Oh,
For
wow. I
the
mean, I used to do frownies before I got into Botox. I used to do frownies and
hmm
it's true, like you would lose the wrinkle when you woke up. But for me, like I'm frowning within like five
right,
minutes. And so by like 5 minutes later, it's like gone.
it's back.
It's back. And so and then the same thing with like the collagen, those Korean collagen masks that are like $20 each. And I put them on and I took it off. My skin looked like glass skin for like 10 minutes
Right.
and then it went back to normal. And so I'm
Right.
just like, okay, so, but I mean, I'm not going to say, I know somebody who I've known my whole life and this person like never wore sunscreen, never got into skincare. And this person is a little bit younger than me and they have their skin texture, even though like when we were young, they had like this like flawless, like beautiful, supple, like skin. Now it's more the wrinkles, there's like wrinkles that are, I would say, like deeper and crisper. And I don't know if
hmm
it's genetics or if it's skincare, but
Yeah, it's
I also
hard.
don't think that you need a lot of skincare. I think just like maybe like lotion and sunblock
Sunscreen. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also like there really is, like we talked about, there is a lot of real social currency that comes from looking younger.
mhm.
And so it's no wonder we all do all this stuff, and that now it's even seeping into the 12-year-old, the 12-year-old skincare routine.
Oh yeah.
Because like I know you're familiar with Sonia Reese Taylor, who she wrote The Body Is Not an Apology,
Yeah.
right? And she has this like ladder of hierarchy for bodies,
hmm
and it's like, the color of your skin, whether you're thin or fat, whether you're, able-bodied or not, and essentially how close you conform to society's beauty standards, like your age, if you're trans, if you're like all those things factor into how society sees you. And whether we realize it or not, we all, I mean, unless you're really thinking hard about it, like she is, and like we are, like people want to be at the top of that pyramid because, I mean, you get treated better, you get
Mhm.
better treatment by society. So it's no wonder we
Mhm.
all, lean in this direction, but it's so important to like, I don't know, think about it and maybe push against it and not to judge anyone for like doing the things that they want to do,
Yeah.
but to think about, what, like, where is it coming from?
Well, just be like mindful about it,
Yeah.
just being like, okay, like, what, like, I mean, because I know that everybody's tired. Like everybody's working, everybody's tired,
Yeah.
everybody's exhausted from like all of the hellscape that is the world today, right? And so it's like, what battles are you willing to fight? And so,
Exactly.
and for some people, it might be the anti-aging thing. So
Yeah.
that's what they have energy to fight for, and
Yeah.
that's great. And some people it's like, like Madonna with her, like, she's gone down the whole, like, youth, trying to preserve her youth rabbit hole. But her battle is, existing as a woman in popular music and so in pop music. And
Under like incredible scrutiny, like
yeah, yeah.
scrutiny that, yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
wouldn't say that Madonna's not a feminist. Like, I would
yeah,
say
that's true. Yeah,
she is like absolutely 100% like fighting a big battle of like this remaining culturally relevant in a society that, relegates older women to like in obscurity of
exactly.
so I
Yeah,
mean
and has always placed huge importance on her appearance, on her youthful appearance as
mhm,
a, yeah, like youthful, fit, blonde, all of that.
mhm,
Which also reminds me of Serena Williams, who's been in the news this week
mhm,
for talking about Ozempic, and she was either in Us or People, like, maybe Us magazine,
mhm,
and I was really struck by a quote that from that. I didn't read the whole article, but one quote that I read was that she says that she's the perfect example of someone who can be at the literal top of her game, one of the best athletes in the entire world,
mhm,
best tennis player probably ever, and is still having her coach tell her that she needs to lose weight.
mm,
Like why?
yeah,
She's performing at the top of her game, literally.
mhm,
And what does her body composition have to do with it? Like if she's
exactly.
already doing amazing, beating everyone, winning everything, why are we
Mhm.
talking about her body? Why are we talking about her being needing to lose weight? That's not going to make her game better
No, yeah,
because it's
exactly.
already at the top.
So like why does she need to make it even better if she's already at the top?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And it's not even, I think it's just that we wrongly equate thin bodies with athletic bodies. And
or
so
healthy bodies.
healthy, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, like my uncle used to like feign like concern about my mom because my mom is overweight. And we'd be like, oh, like we're really concerned about her health. Like she might be diabetic, she might be this, she might be that, and da 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 da. And like he died of a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
And my mom outlived him.
Yeah.
So, and my mom's, she is overweight, but she is like, she's fine. You know what I mean? And so it's
And
like,
society doesn't believe that that's possible. Like
yeah,
that you can be like not thin, but still be perfectly healthy.
yeah. And it's complete,
It's
absolutely
propaganda.
bonkers. It's
Yeah.
propaganda, and it is all designed to make us more like obedient,
Small.
small, and more concerned about something that really like doesn't really need to be control. I mean, maybe some people do have like issues with their weight and their health and things like that, and that's like absolutely valid. But like this obsession with thinness and like equating that with beauty is absolutely propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
yeah, and also like I thought was like interesting about like this whole idea of like anti-aging. I was watching like the Brooke Shields documentary and they brought up a really good point about like how in history like the beauty standard for women was to look very womanly, with like
Mm.
curves, with
Hmm.
like, and if you look at like women from like the 1950s and the 1940s, like the beauty standard was very womanly, the very curvaceous, like Marilyn Monroe, all of that, right? And then what happens when women start fighting for their rights? The 1960s and the 1970s, you start seeing the beauty standard change from like this very curvy, womanly ideal to a very straight, youthful, like boyish physique, like Twiggy. So we go from like Marilyn Monroe to like Twiggy, right? And so, and part of the theory was that once like men realized that they couldn't control women anymore, they decided to turn their sexual attention to children.
Oh.
Yeah, and like this is whole kind
Oh.
of idea of like Brooke Shields being like this like sexualized child at the age of 11 playing a
Right.
prostitute and like kissing a full grown man like on camera, and being in Playboy magazine and all of this kind of stuff. And this is like, or even like the whole idea of like Lolita, which, that book was actually against pedophilia. Like it was a whole book that was like anti-pedophilia. And yet, in popular culture, like they took, like Vladimir Nabokov did not ever want this to be turned into a film. Like he said that this should never be a film. And yet, when Stanley Kubrick came to make it, he said like, okay, like the girl must not be sexualized. She like the girl in the thing is like 12 years old. She looks like a little girl.
Right.
And
She should not be seductive.
she should not be seductive. And what
Yeah.
did Stanley Kubrick do? Like he turned that character, Lolita, into this like really sexy, sexualized, with the lollipop and the lipstick
Yeah. And the heart
and
glasses
the
and
heart glasses and all of this kind of stuff. And like that changed in popular culture. The idea of like what Lolita was about was this thing to Oh, there was this really great YouTube. I'll have to put this in the show notes about Lolita, and it just like the popular culture like at that time said like, oh yeah, like kids are
that's
sexy,
really fucked up.
and then just ran with it in popular culture, and then like because like Vladimir Nabokov did not want to have any any graphic of a woman or a girl like on the cover of his book. Like he just wanted to be Lolita and like that was it. And then like after the Kubrick movie, all of a sudden you start seeing
The
these
heart
like
glasses
pictures, the heart
and the
glasses,
lollipop.
the sexy girls, like literal children like on the covers of these books to sell like the book of like this whole thing, which where he was actually saying like pedophilia is actually like a terrible thing.
I did
And
not
so,
realize that. I always sort of villainized Nabokov.
mm,
Nabokov is apparently the way you're supposed to pronounce it,
oh,
isn't it?
sorry.
No, I just,
Yeah.
I forgot. Like, I just remembered because I actually, on my previous podcast, I interviewed someone who wrote a book called, I didn't, I interviewed someone who wrote a book called, I think it was called Becoming Lolita, because she was seduced by a teacher of hers
Oh.
in high school. And it was really horribly traumatic. Like, it was like a relationship, an abusive relationship that went on like beyond high school. And she's now a professor of creative writing. And I'm sorry, I can't remember where. I will link to it. But she, justifiably had a lot of criticism of the book Lolita. But I did not know that that was not Nabokov's intention.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I think that just goes to show is like where people can take these ideas and like run with what, they want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like kind of miss the point entirely. Like for
Yeah.
example, and I know this is veering off our topic, like the whole thing about like breakfast at Tiffany's, like, like all of these young women are like, oh, breakfast at Tiffany's is my favorite. It's so pretty, like Audrey Hepburn. I'm like, girl, that movie is about a hooker who is who it is actually a very sad story.
Sex worker. Yeah.
She's a sex worker and she is, trying to get out of being a sex worker and she can't.
Yeah.
And that's a very sad story. It's not an aspirational like breakfast at Tiffany's with Audrey Hepburn and her Givenchy gowns. Like in originally, like Truman Capote wanted to have Marilyn Monroe play that character. But I guess the people of the time, the studio said like, well, no, because then they'll know she's a hooker.
Yeah, there won't be any concealing it because she's so out there with her sexuality. But
Mhm.
Audrey Hepburn was more like s- sort of not curvy and looks more sort of
Innocent.
refined and innocent. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
It's
interesting.
Yeah, which I mean goes back into like the whole point with like this obsession with youth. And it's like because, and if we go back into like thinking about things like literature, like this whole idea of like the older women in literature, what does she represent? represents like evil because she
The
cannot
witch.
control. She's the witch because she cannot be controlled, or she is not under the spell of the patriarchy.
Yeah, she's either the witch or the grandma, or,
Yeah,
like the barely worthy of being recognized grandma, or she's the bad person.
the bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like jealous of the young woman in her because of her youth, which I mean there might be some women like that, but I think most of us feel like Pandora, like trying to warn and protect the younger women. And
Yeah.
like, but we're not being heard because like everybody's telling them we're just jealous. And it's like,
Well,
no.
that's because a disproportionate amount of literature is published by men instead of
Mhm.
women. I mean, I think that it's changing. Like, I think there have
Yeah.
been a lot of, I wish I could think of some titles. In my book club, I have read several really great like books written by women who focus on older women that are like really interesting. Oh God, I have the worst memory, but I'll put some in the show notes as examples. But yeah, hopefully we're gaining some ground.
Yeah, yeah, I really hope so, and I think so. I mean, there's like the movie with the Angelina Jolie where she plays Maleficent and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that, and it's told from the story of like the evil queen and or like the Wicked Witch or the evil queen. I forget which one it was, but like, and you know, and even in the Once Upon a Time TV show, the evil queen is actually like becomes like a whole story of like why she is the way she is, and so it
Yeah, and that she wasn't really evil. She was just perceived to be that way.
yeah, she was just hurt. And
Yeah.
and like and I thought that was really interesting. So I think that it, you know, things are changing in the sense of like people are being recognized as being more dynamic, more layered, more
Yeah.
interesting. But at the same time, it's like that still that aesthetic is still like lingering
Yeah.
of like, should we conform to this quote unquote beauty standard? And
Right.
we're seeing this like happening, you know, with the whole idea of like Instagram face, where people are getting like plastic surgery to look like a beauty filter. We have like the beauty filters and things along those lines. And it really warps our perception of ourselves and makes people feel like not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think it's so important to, if you can, if you have it in you to be an example, you
Hmm.
know, to be to be what you want to see. You know,
Hmm.
that's where social media can be a positive influence, you know,
Hmm.
to like if it feels good to you, like rock your gray hair or
Hmm.
like, you know, like Heidi, who we had on the show, Heidi Clements, you know,
Hmm.
show your age, show your wrinkles, talk about it. Talk about how like it's not over just because you're an older woman now. Like you still have
Hmm.
life left to live. You still have things to offer. Like I was in Sephora with my daughter a couple months ago, and these girls who were like similar in age to my daughter walked by this, you know how they have the big pictures of the models wearing the makeup of the brands that they're
Hmm.
selling. And I forget what brand it was, but there was a model that they were showing wearing the product who had white hair and was an older woman. And
Hmm.
these two girls walked by and they were like, "Oh my God, look at that grandma. The grandma's wearing makeup." And I was like, I mean, first of all, she looked amazing. She looked gorgeous, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that she had white hair and she was older. She wasn't like sitting there knitting some booties or something. Like she
Hmm.
looked really stylish. But
Yeah.
I was like, that is why we need it. We need to see more
Hmm.
or older, you know, like also reminds me of Alicia Johnson, who we had on the show, who's like the only mature plus size model signed to a major modeling agency.
Hmm.
Like, why are there not more?
Yeah.
We need to see these women.
Yeah, and just like being visible and being out there. And, you know, and again, to reference another episode with Isabel Sheffield, where she was talking about like
Yeah.
how, like, there was a time when she was like on her Instagram channel, she started to just feature her workers, and
Mm.
she's like was like not in the picture anymore.
Yeah,
And
she
like
was
she
stepping back.
realized like why am I disappearing? And now that she's made a conscious effort to appear more in her Instagram photos, showing her talking about her shoes and things like that. And so it's like, you know, being that
Yeah.
visible. And like with me, like when I first started making videos, like I had like I wore like a wig and I had face tape to make my skin more taut. And I even like tried to change my voice because I hated my voice and
Oh my
like all of
God.
that kind of stuff because I felt like I had to be like this like ideal in order for people to want to see me. And when I took all of that stuff away, that's when my account really started to take off. And so it's like allowing people to see you is,
Is kind of the secret sauce. It's your superpower, really,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is also to reference yet another one of our episodes. Erin Wallace, I remember her saying, you know, your weird thing, like the thing that you think comes easy to you is your superpower.
yeah,
And so like just being who you are, maybe it doesn't feel easy at first, but you know, it will evolve into the thing that people come to you for, like come
yeah,
to your page for. When I first started blogging, you know, back in the day, I was like, well, no one wants to see I mean, I was in my 40s at the time. Like no one wants to see like a 40-year-old's outfits. So I always tried to look like younger.
hmm,
But then I realized that what other women my age really wanted to see was a woman in her 40s or older because
yeah.
they're not represented enough. So, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, and that's the same exact thing in my experience too. Is like the thing that, you know, I thought that people didn't want to see was exactly what they wanted to see. And that's why we're all here is like, you know, being somebody existing in this world and feeling good about yourself. And I think that that is so important. So just like you showing up like as yourself, like you never know like who you're giving permission to be themselves. So,
100%.
yeah.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, well, this was
So,
I that was fun to talk about.
yeah. Yeah. I know
Yeah,
it's something that I think about all the time. And so,
me
and I
too.
will be thinking about it. Should I get the extensions? Probably. I probably should. But the hair extensions for my,
That's like a fun thing to do, you know? It's
yeah.
fun. Like maybe I'll dye my gray hairs pink one day and that would be fun, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. So if it's fun, if it's not painful, and if you can afford it, then
yeah,
absolutely, you know. And so, but don't like hurt yourself or put yourself into a precarious financial situation to
exactly.
be something that maybe you're not really, you know.
Yeah, something that maybe doesn't actually represent your true self.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, well,
Yeah.
this is so great. So,
Yeah.
we'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode. And if you'd like to hear more about this topic, let us know. And
Yeah, or if you have suggestions for other topics,
yeah,
please let us know.
please let us know. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. All right.
Yeah.
Have a good
All right.
day.
Bye, Janine.
Bye bye.